The NFC South is shifting, and the ground is moving beneath every team's feet. For the Atlanta Falcons, this isn't just another off-season storyline. It's a moment that could change the path of their future. A rival stumbles, the Falcons make bold choices, and suddenly the door to a championship push feels a little closer than before. But moments like this don't come without sacrifice. Just days after the preseason wrapped, Atlanta made one of the toughest moves a team can make, cutting down the roster to the final 53. 12 players were told their journey in Atlanta had ended, but one name in particular stood out: Nikola Kalinick. Kalinick isn't just another camp body. He's a 6'4", 248-pound tight end from Toronto who fought his way into the NFL the hard way. His path hasn't been smooth or glamorous, bouncing from the Colts to the Rams, spending most of his time on practice squads, never knowing if tomorrow would bring another contract or another goodbye. Yet, every chance he got, he left flashes of something more. With Indianapolis back in 2022, he earned 2 starts in 7 games, even carving out snaps on both offense and special teams. He's the kind of player who's done the dirty work, who's fielded kickoffs, who's taken snaps most fans never notice, all in the hope that one day he'd finally stick. Atlanta signed him in January, a signal that the front office saw something worth developing. For months, he put his body on the line in training camp, trying to prove he could be more than a depth piece. But the business of football is cruel. With roster spots scarce and competition fierce, Kalinick's story in Atlanta ended before it could truly begin. And that's the reality of this league. For every star that rises, countless players are forced to pack their bags. It's a reminder of how razor-thin the margins are in the NFL. The Falcons didn't cut him because he lacked effort or toughness. They cut him because building a contender means making decisions that leave good players behind. This is where Atlanta's story gets fascinating. These cuts aren't just about numbers on paper. They reveal a front office that is shaping a roster with purpose, trimming away uncertainty to create a team capable of something bigger. The release of Kinnick and others is just one step in a much larger, emotional process, a process that could define where the Falcons are headed this season. The story of Nikola Kalinick is one of resilience, determination, and the steep climb every outsider faces when stepping into the NFL. At York University in Canada, he wasn't just another player on the roster, he was rewriting the history books. In 31 games, he hauled in 38 receptions for 416 yards and 2 touchdowns, modest numbers on paper, but monumental for the program he represented. More than the stats, it was his impact on both sides of the ball that turned heads. In fact, Kalinick became the first player in York's history to be named an OUA All-Star twice in the same season, once on offense, once on special teams. That wasn't just recognition. That was proof of his versatility, his grit, and his ability to shine wherever the team needed him. But the NFL is not about sentiment or college accolades. It's about survival. And survival is brutal. Every summer, rosters shrink. Coaches sit in rooms, staring at depth charts, deciding who fits and who doesn't. For Kalinick, the timing of the Falcons' decision wasn't about failure, it was about numbers. Atlanta is in a division that offers no room for complacency. The NFC South has been reshaped, and for a team that finished 8-9 last year, second place wasn't good enough. Arthur Smith and the Falcons' front office are chasing something bigger, and every roster move is a reflection of that chase. Cutting Kalinick doesn't mean his journey is over. Far from it. If anything, it highlights the unforgiving nature of the league. NFL careers aren't always linear. Sometimes they're about detours. Players like him often find their way onto practice squads, mid-season pickups, or even into roles that define games when injuries strike. He's already had stops with the Rams and the Colts, and that experience makes him valuable, a player who knows how to adapt, how to grind, and how to wait for his moment. For Falcons fans, this move should be seen less as a door closing and more as a signal of where the team is headed. Atlanta isn't just filling roster spots anymore, they're building with precision. The tight end room is being reshaped, evaluated daily in camp, tested against what Arthur Smith envisions for his offense. Youth, experience, and athleticism, the Falcons want it all, but only from players who can thrive under pressure and push the system forward. That's the reality Kalinick faced. It wasn't about not being good enough. It was about Atlanta raising the bar higher and higher, demanding players who perfectly match their evolving identity. And as harsh as the NFL can be, this is only a chapter in his story. For the Falcons, it's another step in their relentless pursuit of a roster built to compete, not just survive. The Atlanta Falcons have built their identity around one simple truth: balance. This isn't a team that leans too heavily on flash or gimmicks. Their philosophy has always been clear: control the game on the ground, dominate with tight ends in the passing attack, and force defenses to respect every blade of grass. At the heart of that plan is Kyle Pitts, a player who carries the weight of expectation every time he steps on the field. Pitts isn't just another tight end, he's a rare talent, a mismatch nightmare who can stretch defenses in ways few at his position ever could. The Falcons know he's the centerpiece, but they also know a team can't survive on one star alone. Depth matters. Reliability matters. That's why developmental players like Kinnick were brought in, long shots with raw athleticism who could grow into something more. But football is ruthless. The margins are thin. Kinnick, despite his size and potential, didn't make the cut. For him, this isn't the end, just the first hard lesson of the NFL. History is full of players who were cut early, only to return stronger, sharper, hungrier. The league always gives second chances to those willing to fight for them. While individuals like Kinnick look to find their path, the Falcons themselves are on a mission. They finished last season at 8-9, agonizingly close to the playoff picture, but close doesn't count in the NFL. That sting has fueled their offseason, a hunger to turn frustration into dominance. And they'll need every ounce of that fire, because the NFC South is no longer a quiet corner of the league. The Buccaneers, Saints, and Panthers are all clawing for control, each with their own strengths and storylines. This year, Atlanta isn't hiding. They aren't the underdogs sneaking up on anyone anymore. They're a team with rising stars, battle-tested veterans, and a coaching staff determined to fine-tune every weakness. The offense looks ready to take the leap forward, built around Pitt's brilliance, Bijan Robinson's explosiveness, and a line determined to own the trenches. But football is never just about offense. The defense has embraced the challenge of becoming nastier, faster, and more reliable. Pressure on opposing quarterbacks has been a focal point, and the message from coaches has been crystal clear: no more easy yards. Even special teams, the often overlooked third phase, has been under the microscope. Last year, it cost them games. This year, they're treating it like a weapon. Every roster move, even painful ones like cutting developmental players, fits into a larger puzzle. Atlanta's front office isn't just trying to build a team that competes in September. They're building a roster designed for January, for playoff runs, for big stages, for moments that define legacies. And through it all, there's the heartbeat of this franchise: the fans. They've endured the heartbreaks, the near misses, the rebuilds. Yet here they are again, louder than ever, ready to believe. This season feels different, and everyone in Atlanta knows it. The Falcons are rising, and this time, they intend to stay. Falcons fans aren't just spectators, they're the heartbeat of this team. Every training camp update, every preseason snap, every roster cut or signing is felt like a ripple through the city of Atlanta. Because for this fan base, it's never just football. It's family, it's pride, it's a belief that one day, all this struggle will lead to that long-awaited Super Bowl moment. The decisions may look small from the outside. A cut here, a signing there. But inside, every move is a chess piece in a bigger plan. Yes, players like Kinnick may not have made the roster this time, but football is a game of second chances. Doors close, others open, and Atlanta has always been a place where hungry talent can fight for their moment. So what should fans be most excited about? It's not just one player or one flashy move. It's the vision that's being built brick by brick. It's the growth of young stars stepping into the spotlight. It's the way the coaching staff is carefully shaping a roster that can stand toe-to-toe with anyone in the NFC South. And make no mistake, this division is a battlefield. The Saints, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, every team is coming for the crown. But the Falcons are done being overlooked. They are fighting to be the ones who rise out of the chaos, the ones who bring that Lombardi home to Atlanta. Behind the scenes, this organization is working tirelessly, crafting a team that doesn't just play for wins, but plays for history. That's what makes every move so meaningful. That's why the fans care so deeply, because they know greatness isn't given, it's built. And right now, Atlanta is building something special.